Beautiful, beautiful question, Jill. Can you just repeat about the question, because now we just clicked recording. So
Um, and the Maharaj said, break the bonds of memory and self-identification, and the shell will break by itself. There is a center that imparts reality to whatever it perceives. All you need to, all you need is to understand that you are the source of reality, that you give reality instead of getting it, that you need no support and no confirmation. And so my question was, I didn't, that's the first time that I heard that I can remember that we were the source of reality, um, that we give reality instead of getting it.
yes, it puts us in a different direction, isn't it?
Yeah, it does.
Yes. So we are the source of reality through which there is a manifestation. We are not somewhere at, like there's a telephone line and someone is in the other side of the line receiving a call. So we are the source, therefore there is a lot of peace there, because we tend to think or tend to believe that we are in the other side, which is getting from the source. Yes, this is the, good morning, Cindy. This is the tendency, this is how people, let's say, process things or take it as real, that we're sitting somewhere on the branch, yes, of reality, receiving drops of goods from the source. And it's not. This is the bondage of self, that we are sitting somewhere at the last end of a branch and we are receiving from the world. And there is two, the receiver or the source or the world, and we are at the end of the planet, receiver, poor receivers, yes? And this is the bondage of self. We are the source, yes, through which reality streams. Jill sits in the morning and suddenly there's like walking. So reality, do you understand, Jill? We were taught,
Yes.
or we taught, yes, to believe that we are, how do you say, subjectives of reality. Yes, like there's a king or an emperor, and there are subjective. How do you call the people under the king? Subjective. So
Yeah, I think it's subjects.
yes,
Yeah.
subjects. Thank you, subjects. Yes, there's a king, emperor, and there are subjects, and this is what we capture as reality. And this is the bondage of self, and this is what the Maharaj says, that we are not subject, yes, but we are the source through which everything moves. When there's a walking, so there's walking that comes from the source. Jill thinks I am walking. Yeah, so Felipe thinks about himself. Felipe is writing a letter, but it's basically from the source there's writing. It's a verb with ing, which is happening. Yes. So in this, so what is the want to get something from the world? Yes. There's a lot of how do you say, hype on retreats and gurus and all this branch. Yes. People tend to believe, oh, that there's something which is hidden, which is unknown, that sits somewhere there, and it has all the goodness in the world, everything. And if someone, let's say Jessica, if she could only connect and get it, she has it. Now, it doesn't matter if it's Jessica, John, or Mitchell. People tend to believe that if they get closer or move closer to the source, they will get it. and everything will be solved. So there is a get point. There's a gate, a door, a gate, Gate, from which you can receive everything. And Maharaj says, no, we don't need to get anything. We're not outside of the world. We are the world. So the source is us. Therefore, we don't need any confirmation about existence. Because when people go, let's say, just take an example, when people go to gurus, to retreats, to parties, they wish to be recognized by the other as good musician, as great poets, as great painters, yes, as great mathematicians, yes. This is how people work usually. This is how their brain in them seeks for recognition, because if there is recognition, there are two. And Maharaj says, this is the bondage of self. So if we are the source and music, there's a playing music going, or there's a, let's say, painting is going on, or singing happening, there is no need in confirmation. Do you understand? It comes from the source, and this is what there is. We don't need any confirmation. We don't need any kind of an authority, yes, that will confirm that we are living. Do you understand? People look for, how do you say, salvation. They want a chief rabbi or a chief priest, any kind of a church, sage, that they will give them confirmation that they are good children, that everything will be forgiven. So they seek for another that will give them confirmation. How do you say confirmation? Yes? But Maharaj says this is the bondage of self, because you always look for another that will give you confirmation. We are the source. We don't need any confirmation for existence. You see the difference?
Yes, yeah, it makes a lot of sense.
Because if everything is conditioned, let's say somebody's looking for recognition, it doesn't matter in which field, in sciences, in arts, and he always seeks for something else outside of himself or herself. He is in a bondage, he is in a conditioned situation. And what Maharaj says, that there is not such a situation. This is all imaginary reality. It's imagination, and this is the bondage of self. That we are dependent on another source to give us confirmation that we are good or we whatever. Yes? Whenever you look for a confirmation outside, it means this is one of the, how do you say, signs of the bondage of self. Yes, Cindy. Yes.
Good morning.
Good morning. How do you do?
Very well. How do you do?
Happy to be here with you today.
Very good. Yes, I am as well. Is there an echo at all? Sometimes I feel like there might be an echo.
It's okay. There is no echo at the moment. It's great.
Okay. Uh, I've been thinking a lot about we are the world, or we are our world. And it, it's a new concept to me. And but I was thinking the other day, there's a video game that's called Minecraft. I'll write it right here in
Mhm.
case anyone. It's an interesting game. The kids like to play it. It's where you are a little player and you create a world. And then once you create your world, which is only naming it really, you get to go into it and then you get to build all sorts of things, a house, you get to acquire animals or farm, all sorts of things. And it just kind of hit me that that's maybe similar to what we're talking about here. There is no world until that um, player comes into the world, and there are things to do in the world once they get there, but there is no world until they create it, until they get there. And you can interact with others' worlds as well, or just have your own. Um, but it just was interesting to kind of think to see that and think that that's kind of what we're talking about here. Yeah, I don't know if that makes sense or helps anybody else, but it really helped me just thinking about that game and how it's similar to us in the worlds that we each live in.
Yes, yes, it's a world. Yes, it is. It is. It's a world there. We don't tend to see, let's say, that inside, yes, inside, outside, but there is like this whole world in us. The sun that we see outside is not just outside of ourselves or the moon or the stars or the wheat. There is no subject object. This is what the eyes are telling us. There is a wheat field. Yes, it's no, everything is inside. In us, we are the world. You know this game everybody's playing here, Minecraft? Cool.
Yeah, Cindy, I agree. It is a very interesting game.
Yes, games that are their own worlds. Yes. I was like, once they declare ceasefire, and okay, they shoot after it for a couple of hours, but you just, I needed to rest in something, so there was a game, I don't recall the name, but computer game that you sort of start up to build a little town. You buy a piece of land, and then you locate their streets and roads, and you can build a water tower and give the town power, and then you build houses and schools, and then the city grows, and then you need to build more buildings, and more people are coming to the city, and you tax it. So it gave me, yes, and I was like playing it for 1 hour or so, and it gave me such a peace after the, I don't know how to call it, but it was a world. You at this moment that you're playing it, it's like the world. This is the forest. This is the land that you're buying the land, and then you pull roads, and it's a world. It's a world. We tend to think. Let's say if we see people walking or on the shore, we tend to think about them as objects. Yes, this one is crossing the street, this one parks his bicycle. No, but there's a world in them. We are not objects as we tend to think. Who experienced the sunrise, the sunset, the summer, the winter, the snow, the sea, the waves, the harbors, the music. Where, on which background all of this is happening? Can we say that there is a taste of vanilla if there's no one tasting the taste of vanilla? Once you hit it, yes, Jill?
I was just going to say, if no one is tasting it, I think that it would be hard for me to say, yeah, there was a taste of vanilla if nobody was tasting it, especially myself. I mean, I could say, yeah, it exists, but I can't taste it, so I wouldn't know.
Yes. So we are the world, all of us, in which everything is happening. And in this world, there is no lack. There is no lack. How can the source, and this is going back to the words of Maharaj, how can the source have any lack? How can we experience or have any lack if we are the source? How? What comes into consideration, and he says it in the book, that as the source, of course, there is no lack, but immediately the brain comes, yes, claims this, what he projects, the brain projects, this is reality, and immediately there's a lack. The brain will come first, claim ownership, yes, and will show us how there's a lack. And why do we need to act? Yes, to gap this lack or to bring something forth, which is, we thought, it is lacking. Good evening, Yanis. But since we are the source, there is no lack at all. Good evening, Yanis. Good evening. Thank you for your question, Yanis. Yanis asked a question. Maybe Yanis would like to unmute or speak about the question and about the sources that we offer to read. Yanis, would you like to unmute and speak? Yanis was asking very beautiful question. She said she does not quite understand what, or let's put it like this. In the last session, we mentioned that what is a prayer is incriminating the finite self to give a space for the infinite consciousness to stream. Yes, this was, I think, one of the sentences that we mentioned in the last session on Friday, and Yanis asked a question about it, and I said that there are two sources that we could look where those terms are appearing. One of them is the Big Book. The Big Book is a book that was written by Alcoholics Anonymous, yes, 100 years ago. 100 men and ladies that were, they used to drink alcohol, and it brought them to such a point that they would like to stop drinking, and they wrote this book, the Big Book. So in page, I believe 68, I'm not sure, I just posted it yesterday, there is a sentence that say that we'd rather trust the infinite, yes, than our finite self. Yes, because the finite self is a lie, is a deception. The brain is limited in the data that it can catch and calculate. So this is what they say there. We trust the infinite than in a finite self. This is one source in which this sentence appears. And there's another source, which is the book Shamati, I heard, by Rabbi Ashlag. He was listening, yes, to Zohar sessions and not writing them down as a student at the moment that they were spoken, but few days or the morning after, from hearing, not from seeing, because many times we see students in the lectures or people trying to take notes when someone speaks. If people try to take notes when someone speaks, they try to get something. You see, this is dualistic relation. They try to get something from the speaker, but Baruch was writing it from hearing. This is a completely different writing. And those lists or impressions that he wrote shortly after he heard the teaching were collected to a notebook, to a book called Shamati, I Heard. And one of the articles in this book speaks about prayer. And in this book, he explains what is the root of prayer. In Hebrew, prayer, good morning, Fernando. Prayer, tefillah, yes, comes from the verb palal, to incriminate. So when there is any kind of prayer, it's basically incrimination of the finite self. And this is the virtue of the prayer, because Yanis asked about the prayer a couple of times. So why people are praying? And this is something that comes immanent in people. People pray for rain, people pray for goodness, whatever. What is the root of the prayer? Is incriminating the finite self. By incriminating it, it is being pushed to the side, and there's a space coming, and there's a relief from the lies of the finite self. This is the nature of prayer. There is also another kind of prayer in which people are asking, give me work, give me children, give me house. This is kind of begging. Yes? Again, and in the prayer, you see here another mechanism that works. Yes. Yes, incrimination of the doer. Excellent, Fernando. So in this kind of prayer, give me, give me, give me, people look for what? They're begging, give me. Yes? They don't see that there's the source is moving through them. So they ask for something, yes, which is outside of the world. They don't see that there are the world. Yes, so it's quite interesting. If we let this, how shall I call it, finite self, yes, Yanis.
T, can you hear me?
Yes, good evening.
Good evening. I had problems with my mic just now. There was another thing that, you mentioned, you said to listen to Ramis.
Yes,
Yeah,
Ramesh Valsakar.
Ramesh.
Yeah,
Ramesh.
yes.
And I listened to one of his talk, and just now you mentioned about the source moving through us.
Yes.
Just a while ago, Ramesh mentioned something like even in someone who takes a gun and kill a lot of people, that is also the source moving through. Did I listen correctly?
Yes. He says also through a psychopath,
Yeah,
not
through a
just through.
psychopath. Yes.
Yes. The source also moves and operates through a psychopath. There was a beautiful, if I will find it, there's a really beautiful conversations by his that I thought to bring here to share on Discord in one sentence to summarize the key point in conversations. Yes. And in one of the conversations that he was holding not in his living room, which was 208, 209. Previously, he was invited to Germany. It was in the 90s, and they opened a beautiful tent, and they decorated as they thought. It is in India, so it was like a bit manufactured surrounding, but there was a beautiful conversation because Ramesh was speaking, and people were sitting in front of him on a carpet, and beyond them there was like rows. How do you say rows? Like in a church, like chairs in, let's say, in a church or in the cinema. So, and one of them asked the ability to speak, and he was a man in his 70s. And he was in a very stormy moment in himself, because Ramesh was saying that the source even moves through psychopaths. And this man came to speak. He says, "Excuse me." You can see, if I will find it, I will share it. And this man was standing, and he was shivering. Over 70 he was then. He told Ramesh that he, as a young man, he fought in the German army against the partisans or the Russians in the forest in the Second World War in the 40s. Yes? He said that he fought in the forest with his German squad. And this German squad met few people called partisans or Russians. And at a split of a second, partisan Russians, they were exhibiting a psychopath attack, and they killed and murdered his friends in front of his eyes like cannibals, something like that. And he was storing this experience for 50 years, until he came and shared this experience with Ramesh. And when he says that, you could see that he's shivering because he is reliving the moment of psychopath attack on them. Regardless of the opinions about whether Germans good guys or bad guys in the Second World War, just he was experienced psychopathic attack, like something open cannibalism, let's call it like that. And he says to Ramesh, "You want to tell?" He was shocked because he was struggling with this for 50 years. He could not sleep. He just in him, just the machine is going, this thing, yeah, in the head. And Ramesh was sitting in his chair, and he says, "Yes, even through psychopath, the source is moving." And this was the end. Yes, Ramesh did not say any other word. Is it? Yes. The attack, 7th of October here.
Yeah.
Like killing 1,800 people. How do you say? Raping, God knows, cannibalism. Yes, taking people into captivity, into torture for many, many years. almost 2 years. What is going? Are they outside of the world? Psychopaths are outside of the world? A man that take a shotgun in America and goes into a school and shoots 17 children in one class. Does he have the ability to operate himself to do such a thing? What operated? Oh, yes. People suddenly have this urge to lift a gun, to go into airplane, to crush the center of commerce in New York from themselves.
So therefore, there is no accountability. If this is the case, if the source is moving in through them.
This is what operates reality. Who are we to say that it's not? Some people are rather look to the side and say, oh, it's not beautiful and it's not part of reality. Their reality is
And then on the
enlightenment.
other,
And
and then on
yes,
the other side, on the other side where prayer is, I mean, we would, when we are told that, I know you mentioned about prayer to incriminate, oneself as a doer, but because you realize that you are finite and you need protection from the source, and you pray about it,
it's
does it
basically
avail?
to
Does it
yes, yes,
avail?
yes. There is in the act of prayer, what happens is to shut down the brain. Prayer, in a way, shuts down the brain because the brain is going like 24/7, whatever. Yes, but the prayer, the moment of prayer, suddenly you evacuate the room from the ruler. Yes, the space from the ruler, from the brain, from the self, from the narrator, and something else is going on. Suddenly there's a space, there's a dialogue, or there's a request. So it's not I'm speaking down. Yes, this is what the selfing does, speaking down. And suddenly this is just shut it down. Yes, for a moment of the prayers. Something else is going on in the space.
That's why in the book of Psalms, you see David, all the time he's praying. A lot of his psalms written are like in prayer form.
Yes.
And
Yes. Yes. It's very good what you say, because yes, there are 150 psalms. Yes. So a prayer, once there is a prayer happening, it means that there is a space from selfing. Once there's a prayer, yes. Yes, Yanis?
So on the one hand, you have someone shooting in a crowd, okay, that is from the source. But in that crowd, there could be someone who is so scared that that person could be praying. How does it all work? The person is trying to shut her brain, and the other person the source is moving to get him to shoot everyone down.
Yeah.
So how
So
does
this
scenery work?
Again?
How does this scene work? How does this movie scene work? There's someone
believe.
who
Yes. Speak, Yanis. Yes.
there is someone who had the source is moving. He took a gun, or like
Mm-hmm.
the October 17 incident, And I'm sure that, within the October 17 incident, there could be many who probably calling out to Hashem, okay,
Mhm.
to shut the brain. And so how does it work out in the end? I mean, for me, I believe, that's why I asked the question about trusting God, trusting and believing. Because I believe that, in my moment of desperation, if something like that happens, and if I call out to Hashem, I mean, he can turn the situation around. I may miss the bullet or something. No,
It's
I
just what
I
it,
don't know whether
yes,
you understand what I'm saying.
Janice, prayer is to drop self. You can say incriminating self. I'm just trying to use, how do you say, helper wheels like in bicycle. Yes? But it's just to drop the self. This is the greatest prayer. To drop the self.
So
It's
when you
just
drop the self, what happens?
there's like a great opening because it's whatever the self brings about, it's just lies. So you shut the liar and truth comes.
And then what proceeds?
Truth. 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 This is it.
But the reality of the situation,
Yes.
does it
Yes.
change? Does the circumstance
The
change?
perception of reality. The perception of reality. Your brain is telling you A, B, C, this is reality. But when prayer comes or there's a space or you drop the selfing, the truth is silent, does not need any words, nothing. It's just what happens in the prayer, I would say, is the sense of the spider web around you. They disappear. It's like a veil. In a way, those prayers are coming to shatter the walls between, because there is a sense of me and the world. There is a sense, the brain gives us all the time the sense that there's me and there's the world. And once the narrator is being shut down or being dropped, there's only truth, and there is no narration, and there is no bondage of self, and there's no me and the world because there's only the source.
Okay, because Ramesh also mentioned something about if something like that happens, it affects A, it affects B, it affects C. Everything is within the will of God.
Yes, everything is within the will of God. All this orchestra is orchestrated. Yes, it cannot be outside of the will of God, outside of the source. Cannot. It's beautiful if you can listen to. It's great that you're listening to Ramesh. It's great. What more than this?
Yeah, I'm trying to understand some of the thoughts behind it, which gets a little bit fuzzy when
Yes,
to
it's
listen.
good. It's good. It's good that you listen to him, and slowly, it is about repetition because every conversation comes another speaker in front of him and comes from a different angle. But when you listen to this, let's say occasionally, it will come. It will come. It's very, very interesting to listen to him. Fernando was listening to him for a while. Fernando also can share. It's very interesting. Yes, Fernando.
Aqui, I do not have answers. Shalom, friends.
Shalom,
But
shalom.
but from what Yanis is speaking, of course that we can remember, like Moses after the golden calf intervene for the people. God wishes to to say to fulminate the people. So Moses is like the great lawyer that spared the lives. It is like a prayer, uh, like being negotiating with Hashem. But I'm gonna put some elements in the table, let's say, on the table. As let's say that I can remember that Ravi Luria speaks that when one everything that comes from the higher, everything from Abba Veima. Hashem, let's say everything is being produced all the time, all the time. So it's interesting that if you are making a prayer for the infinite or something limited, the problem, of course, is our perspective of the limited. Let's say you said about the prayer of the beggar, to not
Mhm.
use to make this kind of prayer, but let's say that someone is asking to pay the bills on Monday.
Yes.
You are asking for the infinite. That if you put in material terms is like everything, a little drop of the sea, and I can remember like a Kabbalist speaking is like it's like entering in. If you are able to access this energy of the higher, it is like accessing all the goods of the earth, but you are asking just for like nothing, You could
Mhm.
ask for more. You could ask for for identity with this energy, not to be bound with this. So I agree with Ramesh that many times who are making the reality are us, and the reality manifests for us just as we are in the same way that we are looking for it. And if I may share one experience, personal experience, Eti.
Yes.
My father had like many problems in a company that he owned in the 90s. Faced many problems and suffered a bankruptcy and so on and so forth. And so he had like legal issues to solve with creditors and so on and so forth. And I am a lawyer. I started to help somehow to work on it for many years. It was a long time ago right now, but I was working hard on this. And we were like getting the end of this story that took like 15 years maybe. And my father suffered an accident. He was like smashed by a car and and suffered like a head concussion and lost his memory. Not all memory, but some memory. And he became okay. It is passed like many time ago, but he forgot about the process. He forgot about the what was happening in this realm, and like 3 months later, everything was simply gone. And I could not tell him, "Oh, we won," or "we finished this episode." For he, it was finished with this accident.
Mhm.
So it was crazy to look at this because it was like fighting for this, suffered an accident, and 3 months later, everything just resolved.
Mhm.
So I was this episode struck me somehow because sometimes we are so attached to a problem and we are not able to let it go, because we are not able to let it go. But I saw my father, for other circumstances, letting go, and everything became fine. It was not needed to his concern about this, about the subject. So I don't know if it makes sense to you, but I think that when we can drop somehow this position of doer, or to be too responsible. And I think that this kind of experience is only possible in the second half of life, because in the first, you need to take responsibility, and you need to take your. But after a while, the Kabbalist needs to start at the 40 years. This was the tradition. Maybe because of this, you need to understand that you are not the doer.
Mhm.
Just to bring these ideas, I don't know if it makes sense to you.
It's great, Fernando. Thank you for sharing. He gained a new life. This accident, so to speak, at the moment when the accident happened, is horrible. It's horrific. It's a lot of pain, and so. But this accident relieved him. Yes, from being from the self, from this story, from this court procedure that was so long and painful, and in a way defined him. So this identity, he was free. He was freed by his identity, by his suffering identity. So what he experienced in a way is like a little death, so to speak. This is what people experience when the last breath is coming. Suddenly, a relief from this story of selfing, not existing trouble, because it's already out. So in a way, he received a new life. So this accident to grant him a new life, like a free life. It's funny. It's so funny. Sometimes there is a perception. Yes, there is a take on life. There's a story that defines A, B, C, D as the corner of the field. But it's only one perspective, and there are infinite others.
Eddie,
Yes?
I have a question from Bot about Bilam. You familiar?
About what, please?
Bilam and Balak, or I'm not sure how you say his name.
Yes,
Um,
Bil'am and Balak. Yes, Balak and Bil'am, like weekly
yeah,
portion. But yeah.
yeah. Um, uh, Balak was thinking he had to have Bilam to curse the Israelites, and
Mm-hmm.
he said, yeah, over and over, I can't do anything but what um, God would tell him. And it seemed that he would have had the power, but then also he doesn't have the power to actually affect quote unquote reality. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and I just wondered, did he have, could he curse some things and then not others? Yeah, just wondered about your thoughts on that. Just kind of came up in my head right now.
Thank you for the question. No one can act on his power, or nobody has a free will. We are just, how do you say, we're just like flutes that through us, the divine will, call it, or the source is moving. So nobody has a free will, nobody can act. And you can see in this moment that he was commanded to curse, but what came was a blessing, you see. It's a great, if you look at the Bible, not as people look at it as history book, archaeology. It's like how do you say, a zip, a drop of water of what is being. So you see in the moment what comes through the saucer, so to speak, is a blessing. So is he a saucer? Is he a magician? At the right moment, what comes is the divine will. It was against the command of the king. The king ordered him or commanded him to curse and to. But what came from the flute was a completely different take. Haven't the people here can share that in their mind they think like, or the brain they think A, B, C, D, but in the moment of reality, in the being, something else comes in the moment. So what is happening? And this is what the sages are asking. Are there two authorities? The source, yes, and the many, or the noumenon and the phenomenon? Are the two authorities? Of course not. There's only one, or not two, you can say. Not two. Whatever comes in the moment, this is it. And people can think, people, it happens before we need to travel or to flight or so. So there's many hours before I will do, and then I will put this and that and organizing tick tack, A, B, C, D, E, F, G. And in the moment, something completely different appears or manifests. Not because we did something. This is what comes. And reality is transparent. This is what comes. It's not a build-up. You ask about, and Yanis asked, and Fernando speaks. Once I used to have a dog, and in the morning one day, I just went with her in the morning and someone released in the building, he had attacking dog. I don't know the name of this, maybe you know, that attacks dogs. I don't know their names. And I was walking with the dog on a leash, and suddenly someone released the attacking dog. Yes, Fernando, thank you. They released the attacking dog in the elevator by itself. And the dog found its way from the elevator to the entrance door of the building and went out for his morning trip by himself. Probably the owner was too tired to put him on a leash and to walk with him. So they let him in the elevator and out. And I came out with a dog on a leash. And the attacking dog, he opened his mouth to bite the dog on a leash. This moment you cannot plan. You cannot prepare for. You cannot prepare for such a scenario. You can't. Yanis is asking. Yeah? And the attacking dog was open his mouth to on the neck of the dog, and the dog was already on a leash, but he wanted to kill her, so the soft spot is the neck. And from the infinite, my right hand went into his collar. The attacking dog, I caught him by the collar, and I threw it in the air in such a power that he got his bone beaten. Where does it come from? I never went into martial arts to that degree. Where does this came from? And I told this to a friend, and she said later, it's very dangerous. But I did not prepare it. I did not think of it before. A split of a moment before it happened, it is risky. It is risky. So it's just you say there is an expression in English, in the eye of the storm. And it is very interesting because I saw this also 2 weeks ago, Fernando, that people that have like tame dogs, they go on a leash, and those who have attacking dogs, they give them beyond leash. Yes, this is how it is. Yeah? So I could not predict this, but in the moment it happened, and there was a sense of a danger. Yes, so the protection or something worked, moved through, and this attacking dog, she was bitten. Yeah, the owner needed a leash. You know what happened in the last day of the war here? There was a mother. She left her baby with the attacking dog and closed the house. Yes, she left her baby, 9 months baby, with attacking dog, and she closed the door and went to her business. And you know what happened? What happened? Baby, 9 months old with attacking dog. What happened? It's attacking dog. What happens to attacking dog? He ate her up. Yeah. He ate her up. 9 months. The mother locked the door, left attacking dog with a baby, 9 months old, without any adult or something. And the parents were divorced. Yes, the parents were divorced, and the father was crying. I told you, don't leave the baby under the mother custody. I told you. Yes. So you can ask, and more people that have less self-confidence or have, how do you say, all kinds of syndromes that are less than others, they always surround themselves with attacking dogs without a leash. And sometimes there are herds of attacking dogs just moving like that. I was once, I was for a while, I was adopted, and by a couple, very nice couple, and they were having a visit from family relatives, and there was a young couple, and the baby daughter was like 1.5 years old, very nice baby, but somehow her face was like disturbed. And when the young couple went into to their apartment or their house, when I was like hosted also as a, how do you say, adopted kid, the father already declared that the pit bull beat the baby. He did not kill her, yes, but he ate her face. In such a cute girl, I mean, baby, 18 months or so, he ate her face, and she was scarred for life. And the mother just walked with him, just accepted it somehow. And he goes, the father's such a, I don't know, people with no, how to say, trust no trust, just with frightened dude that tried to surround himself with a dog. Yes. Such a, I don't want to say loser, but it just empty and coward, with false sense of pride. It always comes together. Yes, and the baby was beaten up for life. Such a delicate baby. So, yes, this is how it is. Pay attention. 2 days ago, I also went to inhale some air, and suddenly from the bushes came just attacking dog, only with a collar, not with a leash. And people who have those Chihuahua, the little one, those baby, like dollies, they take them on a leash. Yes, but those with the attacking dogs, no. And there is no law. It's funny. There is no law in all of countries. It's the same. There is no law against it. Just there isn't. And you don't know where it's supposed to come from. You just walk and what? It could also develop in a different, just it was a miracle. It happened, and just the need to protect is just this is what works through, and we never know because we are empty. Yes, because we are empty, and this is the truth. We never know, or we never can predict what comes through the emptiness, what sentence we shall say, how we shall behave. Yes, because it's empty. So what streams from the source? And then we return to Jill questions at the beginning that we are the source. We never know what's going. It just streams.
So what basically streams through the owner have an impact on another person.
Again.
So what streams through the owners of these pit bulls also have an impact on the owners of the small dogs. So
Yes.
it sort of affects everything has a cause and effect.
It's not cause and effect, but those two different behaviors come from the same source. The owner of the attacking dogs and those who takes their little baby dogs on a leash, both behaviors are coming from the same source. It's non-two. It's not independent. You see, it's not this against that.
Okay.
Who gives them idea to buy those attacking dogs? To surround themselves with attacking dogs. They are not. They cannot animate themselves. They cannot cause themselves think. Where does it come from? This
So
is
you're
what
saying,
Ramesh. Yes,
yeah,
this is what
yeah.
Ramesh says, that even psychopath is being through psychopath, the source is moving. Yes, Felipe.
Hello, Eti.
Hello. Good morning. How do you do?
I'm fine, Eti. Really happy to hear all of you. And I know we are just in our time, but this question came, Eti. What is the source of duality? What is the source of duality?
The source of duality is the source. There is the noumenon, yes, the infinite. And when the infinite finite itself, it becomes duality. When the infinite limits itself, like we see this in a poem of Tree of Life by Luria, when the infinite limits itself, then it's duality. Yes, it's very simple.
What is this poem from
A Tree
L'Oreal?
A Tree of Life by Isaac Luria, Tree of Life.
So in that poem, it says that the source of duality is the source restrict himself to be finite.
Yes, not in those words, but there is There is a very detailed poem that expresses the process. Yes, yes, in Tree of Life by Luria, Isaac Luria. Yes. Yes. Yes, excellent, Fernando. Yes, you can find it. There's a quote by yes, that Fernando brings here. And there's a Cindy is asking, how does addiction play into all of this? Paul Hederman speaks of, yes, what is the addiction? Addiction to self. Yes, that I control reality. Yes, it means that there are two. Yes, I control reality. Yes, a sense of control. Yes, this is dualism, sense of control. Very interesting. Very interesting. What those people that goes with attacking dogs have around them, the sense of their life is under their control because they are powered by those animals, by those beasts.
But it's not them, right, doing those, as it's just a
They,
source.
they are instruments, yes, played
Yeah.
by the divinity. They cannot act from themselves. They are instruments that are mobilized by the source. Yes, this is what
Well,
Ramesh says also. The
yeah, I
timid.
know.
Mhm.
Yeah, yeah. It's still trying. I'm trying to still think and understand it. So what basically, is that what we see that's happening in this world right now, which is getting darker and darker,
Yes, yes, yes.
is all coming from the same source.
Is coming from the same source. Yes, the invasion to Europe by Muslims. Yes, Iran is attacking Britain. Yes, Russia is supposed to already in full geared. Yes, yes. It is coming from the source. From where can it come? From where? What mobilized millions of people to storm Europe, to cause unrest, to kill, to rape, to cause disorder and anarchy? What? What? You remember Weinreb's book? He says, I think in the first few chapters, that there is a stopper. Men can go, or humanity can go to development how much they wish or they want, but at some point a stopper will be put. This is from the system. Yes, a stopper or reset button, and then you have it. Extreme development, you could see this also happening in the former century. Yes, extreme development, and two world wars, one after the other. Yes, it's a reset button. Like there is a Shabbat, the seventh day after the sixth day of development. So it's the same pattern. You can think to yourself. Ramesh gives a very beautiful conversation. If you have another minute, we can also listen to Ramesh and speak about it. It's beautiful. Ramesh says he was a banker. He was the head of the Bank of India in the 50s, 1950s, in the former century. And he says that in the 50s, it used to be a term millionaire. He says, what is a millionaire? The one who has $1 million or currency is a millionaire because millionaire. When he was speaking at 208, he says, people wants to grow in 1 year infinitely or something like this. This is impossible. When companies and when they look at the prediction of growth and they want to grow in 1 year 1,000 times, it's not normal. And at some point or within the system, also there's a reset. The reset button is already operated. This is what Weinreb is trying to tell or to share in his book. it is coming from the source. The dark, or what happens now in those days, there's a lot of people are being put in camps, in jails. Yes, AI. There's not enough manpower, so the jail are being handled by AI, and so very, very interesting.
Yeah, that's why the whole world is talking about
Yes.
coming of Mashiach, the coming of Mashiach, the coming of Jesus, the second coming of Jesus as the reset button. The coming of Mashiach.
This is it. This is how it goes. This is the seventh day. You know, the development is always determined by the sixth. Yes, this is where the serpent meets Eve in the sixth day. And the stop, the reset is Saturday or the seventh day. It will stop. Yes. This is why also the wheat, yes, is the first. Yes. Say it also, yes. Very good, Felipe. This is also why the wheat is the first species, yes. But the process of making the wheat into bread is like 6 days. And then we have Bethlehem, the house of bread, is 497 times 7. This is very, very interesting because bread is also the war, and there's a reset. In the war, there is a reset. There's a new world coming with the war. Yes, a new world is coming. Yes, it's already here. So, dear friends, this conversation can continue forever. So, and I would like to thank each and every one of you being here, participating here in this beautiful conversation, and we can meet here on Wednesday. So Wednesday, if you have the time, we shall be here. Yes, and we could have another one conversation going on. Thank you so much for sharing from the bottom of your heart, everyone, and wishing you a very good week, good season, and see you as soon as possible. Toda and shalom.